Feel the sacrum. It's like the plumb on the end of the plumb line. Your spine is the line. As though someone is holding this line up here, and your sacrum just hangs heavily from the end. If you can relax the legs and allow gravity to put the sacrum where it wants it, then generally it will swing forwards a little bit as the legs relax and allow it to drop. So when you're in the right posture, it very much feels like you're sort of leaning backwards a little bit. Feel the feet on the ground, big toes in a little bit, little toes out, because the toes are splayed as much as possible. And now lifting the arms, but as though the puppet master, the puppet man who's holding your strings, is pulling your wrists up. So it's hardly any effort from you. The arms just seem to be magically drifting up. Shoulders are trying to stay relaxed. And when they reach the position, they've just slowed down. They haven't actually stopped. They're still being pulled up, but they're just sinking with gravity equal to the pull up. So they seem to have come to a standstill. But you've just really reached balance rather than stillness. And then slowly let them down. And then again, you have to sort of tell the puppet man, okay, lift. It's your mind. Your mind is like the puppet man. And you're lifting your own arms. And then it reaches balance. Feel the mind. The mind has to really concentrate and keep intending upwards. If it gets distracted, then I have to get tense in order to stop my arms from falling down. And then I release and slowly it comes down. And let's try it once more. What is it that pulls them up? It's like a lightness. It's a lift within you. And it reaches balance. I have to keep the lift going, otherwise they'll fall, because gravity is always there. And so this has to be always there as well. Like your hands are being called from above. And then down again. And now feel the body on the ground. Want the same sort of feeling, like the sinking is just continuous. And so I have to be pushing up against that continuously as well. So I don't want to just lock my body in position, because that's nothing to do with energy. Just opening up and relaxing so that I can feel the energies at work. Gravity is like a flow of energy that's down, that's constant, nothing can stop gravity unless you leave planet Earth. And so this push up has to flow constantly as well. Because if I just completely relax, gravity will just pull me down into a heap on the floor. And now it's moving side to side, pulling and pushing. Pulling with one leg and the other leg pushes. So the pull is this sudden burst of yang, and the pushing is this just long, gentle yin. And now, again, just coming back to gravity. So that's really the sacrum, the plum. That is pulling down. And then the arms lift. And they just continue going. And relax the arms again. And again. The wrists are being pulled upwards, magically. And now the two circles. Try and keep that feeling of the gravity pulling you gently down, and the puppet man above calling you, lifting you all the time. The movement is coming from above. This is the feeling we want. I'm just standing there in riding horse, but something above me is making this movement. And again, just let it fall. Again, feel gravity operating upon your sacrum, pulling it down, but also swinging it forwards, down into your knees, especially. Feel the head being lifted, and then the wrists being drawn up. And now turning, very gentle. Stay with the two energies, gravity flowing down through you, and this lightness calling you to rise. Body and soul, or body and spirit. We want to feel how turning, if we let it, increases this pull upwards from above. Good. And so just feel it when we come to a stop, when we stop the turning, gravity becomes the strongest feeling. When we're turning, there's always this sense of lift. Okay, now again, the arms up. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, big toes pushing down. Think of those El Greco pictures of the saints. Eyes looking up, but the body melting downwards. The spirit expresses in the eyes. Babies and animals, whenever they look at you, they look you in the eye. That's where you are. That's the expression that is quintessentially you. Feel the sacrum hanging down, anchoring and stabilizing this very delicate machine. So all spiritual disciplines basically say the same thing. We all contain a piece of God. We all contain a little bit of spirit that for some reason has broken away from God. And the meaning of life is to somehow reunify. I always think of it as like E.T., you know, the film E.T., E.T. Go Home. So he builds this sort of Heath Robinson contraption to transmit to his home planet so they can come back and rescue him. So that's the sense. Your spirit is like a little ET that has built this body, and this body is the machine that transmits. And now let's bring it up and just do a little bit of this one. Feeling the tail. So waking up the tail, getting movement in the tail is really important. So as I bring one heel up, my tail searches for the other heel. So it swings across a little bit. I always think of Michelangelo's David, partly because for me it's the most beautiful thing that anyone's ever created. But you know, the way he's standing and he's got one leg straight and his weight is on it and his other foot is sort of loose. He's single weighted. He's not standing there like a block. He's full of movement. It's like a miracle, really. That's the feeling here. I'm extending down this straightening leg, and that's just loosening this whole side of my body. Trying to get this swing in my tail. It's lovely, really. It's like that sort of dense, heavy sacrum, which threatens just to be a heavy weight, a dullness, actually has this real delicate movement in its tip. And we need to wake it up, otherwise we are dull. So as the tail swings that way, so does my head. So the spine is always bending. It's never inclining. Tip of the tail, top of the head, swing in the same direction. Your tail is very much with the little finger and the little toe. These vestigial parts, the tail and the smallest digits, they all contain secrets that we've sort of forgotten because we ignore them. And now swinging the tail backwards and forwards with the breathing exercise, pulling in my belly now. So not simply moving the hands in and out and breathing with it, but tightening the belly muscles. That will swing my head forwards, but also pull my tail under. And then I relax the belly muscles and tighten my lower back, and that will take my head back and my tail. Tail coming under, tail pointing back. And feel the Ming Men. The Ming Men is just the middle of the spine, really, in relation to this exercise. And again, I want that feeling that the tail has like a life of its own. Something is trying to wriggle free out of it all the time. Now start turning with it. Turning to the side as you open, then turning back to the front as you close. Still trying to keep my tail active. So now there's a real sense that my tail is pointing back just enough to point down into that heel. And then here it swings underneath. And then it goes into the left heel. seeing it as a figure of eight. Try and feel it as the waltz. So if you just count three, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. Feeling the sacrum. Sacrum is pulling down pendulously. Feel the head lifting. So the two ends of the spine are moving in opposite directions. And then slowly a real lightness infuses the body. The only time really in our lives that we experience this lifting energy, the draw from above, is when we fall in love. You know, and you just got that lightness all the time. You're cheerful, you've got a spring in your step. And everything reminds you of the beloved. There isn't a moment when you're distracted by something else. And that's simply the meditative mind. That's what we're after. That's what we're trying to cultivate. You know, just think how many songs are love songs, how many poems, how many lyrics are addressed to the beloved. You know, so it's obviously the most important thing in our lives. We just tend to lose sight of it. If we're just too much with the earth, then that's when the Danchen is the center, because the Danchen is my center of gravity. Gravity seems to operate upon this point. But when I can get this as well, then the heart becomes the main center. So most people, in my experience, they have hearts that are a little bit cramped and crushed. Is all I try to do when I work with them is just connect them with this. It's not the rebound from the ground, it's actually a pull from above that allows that weight to lift off the heart, and then the heart will just open and expand, and the breathing will deepen, and the person just becomes cheerful and sparkly, colorful. Okay, let's just bring it up now. Try and get the feet splayed, big toes almost touching, little toes trying to creep outwards. Remember, those naughty little toes are the tail. The tail is the same, it's always wriggling, trying to break free, like a little toddler.